welcome to another episode of Sports and Discourse with your host, Derek Stevenson. And on today's episode, I want to do a quick state of the program episode, if you will. Over the last several weeks, I've talked with a lot of people about how they feel about the program right now. And overall, my general feeling is I'm satisfied with what's happening this season. I believe full strength Kentucky was a Final Four contender. And you know, obviously we're not going to be fully healthy for the rest of the season. We have some guys that are seniors that are battling some nagging injuries, and I think they're just trying to do the best they can to make it through the season. But I don't think these guys will be fully healthy until they have surgery. One of them being Lamont Butler. But I think Lamont is just trying to make his last push, before his college career is over. And he's trying to get the team as much as he can, along with some other guys, Jackson Robinson, Andrew Carr, obviously Kerr Kriisa. They're trying their best to be as available for Kentucky as they can, because they know it's pretty much over as far as college is concerned after this season. Kerr Kriisa, I'm not for sure what the status is on him. I think he could be eligible for a medical red shirt. But the other guys are pretty much done with Kentucky, and they're going to be trying to, achieve their dreams and goals of being professional, I'm sure, after this. And I think some of them have a chance. I definitely believe Butler, just his defensive ability alone, will give him a chance. But I don't think any of these guys are going to be their full strength selves for Kentucky. So what we have to look at now is how are we going to manage these guys. And I feel like, we took a risk with Alabama. And obviously Alabama was one of those games, the last 5 or 6 games where I felt like we definitely, even at full strength, we could have easily lost to Alabama. They're one of the best teams in the country. They could be a Final Four team at the end of the season. So, I definitely had that one circled as a potential loss with us not having, 2 or 3 guys available. But what we got to do, what I would like to see happen is I would like to see us beat Oklahoma, beat LSU, and potentially Missouri, and I think we'll be okay. We just got to handle business on that end. And tonight, I believe that Jackson Robinson and Butler are listed as probable. So what I would like to see happen is maybe they get some spot play, not necessarily start, not necessarily play more than maybe like 10 minutes, just to get used to playing basketball at a high level, because we are going to need them when the tournament time comes. I don't believe we can win the championship without every single guy being able to contribute something, especially when it comes to defense. We have to have Butler's defense on the perimeter. He keeps I think his defense alone helps out other guys that are not quite as prepared defensively, because he can keep some guys out of the paint. And of course, we know SEC has a whole bunch of guards that like to attack, they like to score. So we always need Butler just for that alone. We're going to need some scoring from Robinson. Even though I do believe that a lot of the other guys have gotten to, get more comfortable shooting the ball. Some guys like Al Manor got more playing time with Robinson being out. So some guys may have been ultimately better prepared with some of these other players being injured. They got more of an opportunity to get comfortable out there on the court. Travis Perry, Trent Noah, guys like that. That usually don't see the court if everybody's healthy. Chandler as well. He's been getting some minutes the last several games. So some of these guys that are not used to playing high-level minutes have been getting a chance to get a feel for the game, because I do believe going forward we will need some of these guys if they choose to stay at Kentucky, obviously. But, yes, I do believe that we're going to have to try to manage these guys, because I don't think there is no such thing as getting healthy. like I said, I was talking with a coworker of mine, and that's one of the things that we kept talking about is there isn't a healthy Kentucky team. It's not going to happen because I do believe guys like Lamont Butler are probably going to have surgery in order for him to get all the way right. I don't think there's anything that can be done for him while he's playing this season that would give him an opportunity to come back at full strength. So I would like to see tonight against Oklahoma. I just like to see some of these guys get placed in the game and just get a little bit of a quick run, just get a chance to get their adrenaline pumping, break a sweat and see what they can do, see how they feel. But I don't want any of them to overexert. Like I said, Lamont is just one of those guys. I feel like every time Lamont plays, there's a high risk of him getting injured because he's so physical. I think when he's playing his best game is when he's using his strength. That's his advantage over a lot of guards in college. He on defense and offense, I feel like, both ways on the court, he uses his strength to his advantage. A lot, when he's going to the basket, he's able to shield guys off with his shoulders and different things like that. But every time he takes contact, he risks aggravating his shoulder. When he's playing defense, they have to run him off picks. Because most guys are just not good enough ball handlers to get around him without using screens. So anytime he's playing defense on a lead guard, there's potential he's going to be getting ran into screens, which is another way he can aggravate his shoulder. He dives on the floor for loose balls. I know Pope would probably tell some of these guys to try to scale back just a little bit to try to prevent being injured, but most guys that have played sports before know sometimes when you try to slow down a little bit, it kind of puts you in this situation where you're making moves, you're doing things that kind of are unnatural, so to speak, and you can end up being a little bit more out of control trying to hold yourself back. So we'll see how it goes. But like I said, I don't know if these guys are going to play tonight, but hopefully if they do, it's just, a spot check just to see where they're at, because we are going to need these guys. I am confident that if everybody is ready, except for Creasa, obviously, we probably not going to have him. But if we can get Butler good enough to where I know he can play through the tournament, Jackson Robinson can play through the tournament. Like I said, even if we have to limit some of their minutes, I do still feel confident that Kentucky could be one of the better teams in the tournament. And that's why, overall, I'm cool with the state of the program right now. I like what Coach Pope is doing. And, I do believe we were going to have an amazing season if we didn't start getting hit with the injury bugs. It's kind of crazy how this season has went, actually, because for me, we've had some of the highest highs, but we've had some of the moments that just been wild. Even though technically, if you look at the net rankings, the lowest opponent to actually beat us in the net rankings was Arkansas at 42, I believe. And, obviously we're ranked, I think, 12th overall in the net rankings, but we've beat so many top tier opponents this year. And that's what makes me feel confident that with a full roster, I'm not going to say full strength, I'm not going to say healthy, just with everybody available to participate in the game, I still do believe we can beat any team in the country. We gotta see what we're gonna do against Auburn. I think that'll be a good test. If we can put up a nice showing against Auburn, I would be way more comfortable feeling like we can make a decent run in the tournament. I think that's gonna be the measuring stick, because I do believe Auburn is probably the best team in basketball. I believe the tournament is theirs to lose. It's Bruce Pearl's time. He's either going to capitalize or he's going to mess it up. Like I said, I would hate for Bruce Pearl to win a championship, because I believe he would turn into a monster if he gets his championship. But I do believe Auburn is the best team, and I actually I think they're gonna, once we see how we play against them guys, I believe it's going to be a real good way to evaluate what I actually believe we can do. My hopes for the tournament right now, I just hope if we can get anywhere between a three, which I don't know if three is possible. But if we can get anywhere between a 3 to a 6 seed, I'll be completely okay with that. Because we do have, we have lost to a lot of unranked teams, even though they still play in the SEC. So realistically, if the SEC was spread out a little bit more, some of these losses would probably be to ranked teams. Um, but we do have a lot of unranked losses. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but the only two losses that we have to ranked teams were from Alabama. So everybody else has been an unranked team, but we just have so many top 15 victories that I still think, if we just make a good showing in the SEC tournament, I believe we're going to get in and we're going to probably be at a 4 to 6. But that's if we can take care of Oklahoma, LSU, Missouri. I believe we got a shot at 3 to 6. Maybe 4 is more realistic than 3, but I believe anywhere from 3 to 6 will be good. So you guys let me know what you think just about the way the season is finishing, and where do you actually think that we're going to end up being seated in the tournament, and just let me know what you think overall about Coach Pope's coaching and how the season's turned out. And before we get out of here, I am going to look at some of the Alabama clips just to look at some things and see where maybe some things might have went wrong, some things we did well. But just check some of that out before we get out of here. And like some of those shots like that, like I still think that was a good shot, but Carr still might be a little bit aggravated by his back. And anybody knows if you have a back injury, that was a shot that Kobe hit, and it might not have been the greatest shot, but he just still hit it. But like I said, one of the things that I feel like Kentucky struggles at the most, and it's apparent when you're watching them against Alabama. Alabama just gets in the lane too easy for me. And even like plays like that, like pick and rolls. We always, play pretty decent against Bama though. But Alabama just ends up, you know, hitting. Alabama is like the one team that shoots as good as us when we play them, obviously, and they just always just find a way to squeak it out. But like I said, Alabama is probably a potential Final Four team. So I'm not really mad at this loss, especially on the road. Like I said, Kentucky's just a little bit weak on defense, and that's what kind of hurts them. I know, like I said, Lamont Butler, he takes a lot of pressure off some people, but just Alabama's got really good guards. So if we don't got guys like Butler out there, it's gonna be hard to slow some of them guys down. And we don't really have a lot of rim protection too. Like I thought that Amari was gonna be a little bit better of a shot blocker. And like shots like that, like those are just bad shots. But we got to figure out a way to be able to get better shots than that. And see, like I said, it's mostly even though that one didn't drop, but just the defense. And then on the road, like we got to get those. Even though you could argue that Perry was fouled right there, but still we got to get something out of that. Like we have to either get on the line or we got to put that in the basket. And that just goes from, like I said, that's just Perry being young. He ain't physically developed yet, so that's a tough play for him to make as a freshman. But we have to have that, if we, especially like when we getting into tournament time, like those type of plays, you got to get something out of it. And that's not me trying to just excuse me. That's not me trying to just knock Perry, but I'm just saying, like, we at that point we got to get something. But yeah, that's the main thing, man. Just we see, like, right there, like, you know, see her getting all the way to the basket, and he's not really getting any resistance until he's like almost at the backboard. Once again, the same thing. Even though Amari actually did recover on that, but it's just I'd like to see it. Him have to work a little harder to get that shot off. Uh, shots like that, man. That jump shot that deep, man. That one just kind of is what it is. Um, but I think we just was a little out of sync, man. Now that one, that's just one that eventually I think Perry is gonna knock down. Uh, but I believe, man, at some points in the game, you just be tired. Like Perry's playing a little more than normal. Um, so you just got to be a little more conditioned, so that you can be a little more ready. Because you're gonna have some games where you're gonna have to work extremely hard on defense, but still be expected to score some. And I think at some point, after another year or so, he'll be able to knock that one down and still be good to go. Some of the guys that was coming off the bench, I do believe that's what got him. Noah, I think sometimes just now he's expected to play more. He's exerting more energy on the defensive end. Kentucky still has some good moments, but Kentucky just gotta, they gotta just play better defense. But we're gonna see tonight, see what they do. Like I said, that's enough of that. But we're gonna see what they do tonight. Like I said, I think the main thing is we gotta lock up Oklahoma, LSU, and try to get Missouri. And I think we're gonna be all right. Because I'm not seeing a scenario where I feel like unless we play like extremely well and Auburn has an off night, like I'm kind of prepared for that one to go left. But we gotta lock these other one down so we can get a nice little seed and try to get we gotta try to get back to the point where we're getting out of the first weekend in these tournaments, man. I don't wanna see another first round exit for a while. So, like I said, overall I'm happy, I'm satisfied with how this season has turned out. I'm good. But there is no healthy. We might have everybody available, but everybody's not going to be 100% for the rest of the season. So shouts out to all the guys that's playing hurt. Guys like Butler, Carr, Robinson that might have been dealing with some nagging injuries throughout the majority of the season, but still trying to play as much as they can. Still trying to be available for us, man. I appreciate that. So shout out to them guys. And anyways, we'll wrap it up right here. You guys let me know what you think overall about where Kentucky stands right now, and how we going to finish this season. And we'll get back at it next time. Sports and Discourse with Derek Stevenson.